Good evening, friends, and very warm welcome to all the invited guests, KMA leaders, and members. As you know, we are going through tough times. Let us begin the session with a minute's silence and pray to Almighty that we all remain safe and healthy and the whole world overcomes the challenging times. And also, especially to say a word of prayer for all those who have suffered and still suffering during these tragic times. Continue to be seated wherever you are and close your eyes for a minute. Thank you and good evening once again to our guest of the evening, my good friend, Mr. Robin Tommy, head at TCS Rapid Labs, Women Managers Forum leader, our managing committee member and executive director at Federal Bank, Ms. Shalini Warrior, Women Managers Forum member, Ms. Rajashri Shenoy, another good friend who is a colleague of Robin and the head of HR at TCS, past presidents. I can see S.R. Nair, can't find anybody else here. Senior Vice President Nirmala Lilly, Honorary Secretary Jomon George, Vice President ABK, Joint Secretary Algiers Khalid, other members of Managing Committee and Executive Committee, members of the Women Managers Forum, members of KMA and other LMAs, student members, students and invited guests. Good to see that we have a fairly good attendance already here, and I can see it swelling very fast, and I'm sure it will swell even further as we progress. The response to the invitation to the event itself was a clear indication that we have a very relevant topic for the day with the right speaker to address us. Well, this is how KMA has been pulling on in these troubled times to keep our members engaged, remain positive, and provide with meaningful deliberations and events of utility. This is the 8th event of this KMA year being organized by the Women Managers Forum as part of the annual theme of KMA, that is spearheading responsible management. We have treated diversity and inclusion as one among the main focus areas of this year. In this regard, Madam Shalini Warrior has been conceiving regular programs under the aegis of the Women Managers Forum to help women in their businesses and professions and personal lives to get on with the learning and innovation to remain updated and stay ahead in these changing times. But once we got going, we realized that all these topics are also quite inclusive, as there is no gender disparity when it comes to these topics, and it is important to all of us and not just the women folk. Second Thursday of every month has been earmarked for the Women Managers Forum event, and here we are on the 8th of this month, or the second Thursday of July, having this session. The KMA Women Managers Forum started off the year with a panel discussion in December with a very decorated panel of speakers leading a discussion on the topic glass ceilings for women leaders, a myth or reality. And thereafter, we've had a master class on digital marketing led by a domain expert from Chennai, Ms. Aarti Srinath. That was in January. The third program of the Women Managers Forum was a chat session dwelling on a very useful and interesting topic, make your money work for you, financial planning made easy. The fourth event was a session with Professor Vasanthi Srinivasan of IIM Bangalore, addressing us on the importance of continuous learning and staying agile. And in April, we've had Professor Neharika Vora, Vice Chancellor of the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, talking about women directors in the corporate world and the need for more of them. The sixth event had a very profound topic for discussion. Women leaders, assertiveness is not aggressiveness. And we had Ms. Shivapriya Balagopal of Eastern Condiments, Ms. Shreyashi Sen of Darpan Global, Ms. Hema Mani of Lennox International, and Mr. R. Krishna Kumar of Siemens, sharing their thoughts on this very relevant topic. Last month was the 7th event of the Women Managers Forum. We had a very interesting session on a very topical topic, boosting emotional immunity. And we had an expert in dealing with the happiness quotient, Ms. Amrita Gupta Nair, founder of the Happiness HQ, engaged in a very interesting chat with Ms. Sujata Shirsagar, Chief Sales Officer at Career Launcher, sharing some very valuable inputs to all of us on this very relevant subject in these trying times. All these events were well received by our members if we go by the feedback received at KMA through the feedback forms we collect, as well as the direct messages received by us. Those of you who have missed any of these events, or for that matter, any of our past events, please tune into our YouTube channel of KMA, where you can watch all these without any loss at all. Today, we have the 8th event from the Women Managers Forum, which is a masterclass on a technical topic, which has become a part of our day-to-day life now, artificial intelligence. Once considered a subject for the real tech savvy to discuss, today everyone knows that AI assists in every area of our lives, whether we are trying to read our email, getting driving directions, getting music or movie recommendations on the net. There are so many amazing ways artificial intelligence and machine learning are used behind the scenes to impact our daily lives. Though AI is considered as an inevitable progression in our lives, businesses, and professions, many among us are still ambiguous on the utility, dangers, opportunities, and threats posed by the extensive application of AI as a tool which is fast transforming everything that we see around us. There are many questions there regarding this tool that makes humans innovate and be creative in the way we approach everything in computing and processing any kind of applications. So this is a session to throw light on at least a few of them, to answer your doubts on this heuristic programming tool, which is the simulation of cognitive behavior that enables computers to perform such intellectual tasks as decision-making, problem-solving, perception, understanding human communication, and thereafter act based on these. And we have the perfect man to share his expertise on this domain in Mr. Robin Tommy, who heads the Rapid Labs involved in the innovation and research at TCS. On behalf of the managing committee at KMA and all present here, I formally welcome you, Robin, to this session. Put your hands together to welcome Robin Tommy.
Thank you, sir.
I also extend my hearty welcome to all the past presidents of KMA present here, members of the managing committee and executive committee, senior vice president, secretary, members of KMA and other LMAs, members of the Women Managers Forum, student members, members of the media, and all invited guests to this session, which is about to begin. So without further ado, let me invite Ms. Rajashree Shenoy, a member of our Women Managers Forum at KMA, to formally introduce a speaker and also to take us through this session. Rajashree, for all you know, has been with TCS for the past over 18 years and is currently heading the HR operations at the Kochi Center of Tata Consultancy Services. Over to my friend Rajashree Shenoy to introduce the speaker and to take you through the session, including the Q&A. Thank you, and Rajashree, yours.
Yeah, thank you, Madhav, and a very good evening to all the esteemed participants. I can see that it is a wonderful turnout that we have here today. And on behalf of the Women Managers Forum of KMA, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the session here today. Like Madhav rightly said, AI is no longer a topic that is alien to any one of us. It is there very much in our homes, in our drawing rooms, and everyone from Elon Musk to the Pope, has a take on AI and how AI is going to shape the future for all of us. We do have a very prolific speaker with us, a very good friend and colleague from TCS, Robin Tommy, who heads the TCS Rapid Labs, which is part of the research and innovation group at TCS. He has quite an illustrious profile, and I'm going to take a few minutes to just give you a gist of the master that we have today to handle the master class on artificial intelligence. So Robin is currently involved in as a social innovator, sustainability expert, incubation consultant, researcher, and emerging tech stack advisor for bringing out social, green, effective, and intelligent solutions to customers across the globe for TCS. He has been ranked number 21 amongst top 100 thought leaders and influencers for 2020 by Thinkers 360 platform. He is well known for his contributions to assistive technology innovations in India. He has filed more than 50 patents with 8 grants and published more than 25 research papers. His TEDx talk on social innovation and assistive technologies has been trending, and he's currently working in driving customer research and business innovations in AI, robotics, immersive customer experience, IoT, and blockchain technology domains. He and his team, they are the mastermind behind the first humanoid that was launched in Indian airports at Indira Gandhi International Airport, New Delhi. And he has been using AI for purpose-led innovation, where he is involved in various social innovations, research for the differently abled society. He's working closely with cerebral palsy, autism, and hearing impaired society, creating next gen products through research and innovation, and bringing in frugal innovation initiatives to the special world. He has many laurels for his efforts. His team has won the Trivandrum Management Association Disruptive CSR Award in 2018, the Kerala Management Association CSR Award in 2018 and 19. His team has also won the TCS Innovista in 2017, 18, and 19, and that is like the Oscars of the Innovation Awards for TCS. And he has also won the Rotary International CSR Gold Award 2019 for his efforts in this space. Over and above this, for somebody who is so seeped in artificial intelligence, Robin Tommy is a very simple, very humble person with roots in Kanjarapalli. And his pastime, you can see him on the social media also making TikTok videos, quite the fun element there as well. So for somebody who's so seeped in artificial intelligence, Robin Tommy definitely still maintains that human generosity and spirit. I have attended his sessions in the past. He has a lot to offer. And when we have a master with us, without taking much ado or taking too much time, Robin, I invite you to take the session forward.
Thank you so much, Rajashri ma'am. And thank you all for giving me this opportunity. I believe all of you are able to hear me loud and clear. Okay, great, great. So look, AI is a bit of bigger topic. So thank you, Madhav sir, for the kind introduction you started with. And yeah, as you have rightly told, AI is not something we can all learn in an hour. It has been years we have been working from our lab in AI. It's kind of an horizontal today, rather than it started with kind of verticals, but now it's today horizontal. So first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to share the slide and I'll switch off my video so that there is no issues in my network. 1 minute. So once the slides are up, just let me know so that we are good to go. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's come up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So the topic for today, as we have told, it's artificial intelligence. I have almost 50 plus slides. So I'm going to take more than an hour is what I understand from here. So all the questions, we'll park it for the end. We have some Mentimeters in between so that you can get interacted on this Mentimeter. So just be ready in your mobile phone with menti.com, menti.com. So for answering few queries, I'll give you the numbers as we go. So let's start. Now, for all of you, if you want to know more about my profile, I think Rajashri has mentioned most of it. You can just visit my website also for more details. So our agenda for today, since it's been a masterclass, I thought I'll just put up some items which might be useful for everyone. Some taste of everything. Okay. So what is exactly what is AI, artificial intelligence? Then we will be learning on the different technologies from the perspective of artificial intelligence. Then why is AI called the future? I would say it's not even the future, it's the present. So there is a lot of future also in it. some of the AI use cases which we have done, which the world is going towards, marching towards, we call it, how to build a career in it and how to excel in AI. So that's what we'll be covering in this entire conversation. Now let's start this session with a Mentimeter. So I believe you can see my Mentimeter here. So you can, are you able to see the Mentimeter?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what you have to do now is, I would say, just go to this code. You go to menti.com and go to this code 692-43562 and just start your votings. Okay. What is my expectation or your expectation from the session? So we have 3 answers here. I just wanted to see what is that is more curious about this, so that I can change my pattern based on that if required. But over to you. We will wait for a minute. Please go ahead with your votes. So it's menti.com and use the code 692-43562. Once again, 692-43562. It's given here on the top. Are you able to vote?
Yes, Robin. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's possible. Yeah.
It's coming. Okay. So I can see almost like 7 plus 7, 14 plus 6, 20 people have voted. Guys, it's open. We have 10 more seconds. So most of you wanted to understand and apply the same in your current projects. You're just, some of them are curious about it. Almost, I think equally you are trying to see what is happening. So let me see how it looks like. Interesting. So most of, yeah, now the voting has changed. I think it's more of you are curious about AI and to want to see what is the buzz bit. Great. So, and that is what is the session about. So thanks for voting. Now there is more voting lines will get opened as we go ahead. Now, what is exactly AI? Now, this is the terminology of AI. Okay, you look anywhere you look for AI. If you don't see this terminology, it means that you are not looking at the right AI terminology or the exact meaning of it. Now, what is AI? So this is a bit mathematical, but I think we will also then later on, we will see that why we call it in this particular terms, because later on we are going to fulfill that particular gaps. So it's more of like filling the gaps now. Artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence processed by machines, specifically computer systems. Specific applications of AI include the expert systems, NLP, speech recognition, and machine vision. Okay, so that is what is AI. It's so you cannot say that it's completely trying to replace humans. It is trying to augment. So that's the perspective of the session. And the session is not going to talk about replacing humans for anything. It's like augmenting the capability of humans to do certain things. It can be mundane tasks. Day to day, you're doing certain things and you see that, okay, fine. Like a dumb activity, we might be doing it every time the same thing. Why don't the system take it up and do it in a bit more intelligent manner? So intelligently, you might be looking at a picture, you're trying to identify certain patterns. Why don't you give that to AI? So similar, wherever you feel like emotions cannot, or emotions play a lot of role, deeper knowledge and connecting knowledge is play a lot of role. That is where humans get involved. Whereas certain things with there is a pattern, or whether there is a language understanding, a speech that you wanted to, you know that this is the kind of speech, for example, our BPOs, then there is a small machine vision. For example, you go to a place, you don't know what is that place, something is written in Chinese or it is written in some other language that you don't know. You take your phone and you just take the Google Translate or even the live OCR translations and you see, okay, fine, what is that place? So all these are something that augment the capability of humans to understand, okay, or to help them in their daily activity. And that's where AI comes from, okay? And that's what I want. I don't want to go into a controversy saying that AI is going to replace humans and all those kinds. They are all, I would say, just misnomers, and just leave it as a bullshit. It's nothing going to happen like that. It will take a huge amount of time to get it, because if you look at the brain project in Germany itself, it has been years and years they have been trying to understand the brain, how brain works, how the neural networks, because you look at the brain, your brain is so complex. It has thousands and thousands of neurons, which is built in. AI itself, building a 3 or 4 or a 5 or a 10 neural network itself takes months effort. So it's completely a different journey. Coming into challenges that is done in AI. So I think this is the most important phase, where you should use AI. Look, you don't use AI everywhere. That is also something, because we have seen places where people, just for the sake of using AI, they might say, okay, fine, let's use AI here. No, that is it. That is also another thing. We have to stop. Whenever you see some buzz happening around it, people start investing. Especially we have seen businesses investing a lot into AI just for the sake of investing and showcasing that we are also into the AI game. AIs are used where your rules fail. Now, what is the meaning of rule-based system? So you know that, okay, fine. If x plus y is equal to z, okay, it's always x plus y is equal to z, but certain times x plus y is not equal to z. There are situations where there are proportionality, or there is a set of data from which x plus y can take from, or x ampersand y can take from, or whatever the kind of correlations, the mathematics, the statistics. It doesn't apply to a rule. So your rule is failing. You have thousands of rules, but those rules are not enough, because you go on writing rules. For each and every small scenario, you start writing rules. Now, let me give you an example. Is like, for example, you have a book. Okay, you know that in each book there is a specific pattern in which they arrange or they write the particular book. Especially legal documents, you've seen legal documents are written in a very specific format. Now that format changes based on the type of the document that comes in. Now this is a rule engine. You can even give it to a system and say the system, okay, fine, this is how this legal document looks like, and this is the way in which you have to add certain statements into the legal document. But there are times where you have to decide on the terminology changes. For example, the name should be changed certain times based on the kind of criticality. For example, if it's retail, you have to add certain items. If it is healthcare, you have to add extra items plus something that is correlated to that particular person. So personal details and all those GDPR constraints, etc. The things needs to be added into that document. Now, if you build a AI, you know that there is thousands of rules to be applied. So what you will do, you will write a machine learning algorithm over that rule engine or the rules and say that, okay, this is the way in which you have to do it. I know that it's a bit difficult for you to understand, but I'm saying rules always doesn't work out everything, because you cannot go on writing thousands of rules in your system, because all the coding that you do is rules. Java or Python or whatever you do, it's rules. You're saying that this is how you have to do it. A plus B is equal to C. So if that rule doesn't valid, or you have to write thousands of rules around that, then your system is actually means that it's a break, or it's breaking from the perspective. So you start writing a machine learning code or a deep learning code over it, saying that this is how you have to learn to come into this rule, or this is how you have to understand, like a brain. These are the various combinations you have to understand to come into that rule. Hand coding systems are difficult in the sense every time you are looking into the data and then coming and coding. Like for example, you look at a document, you put that document back into the system, digitization. Those places you can go doing OCR, optical character recognition. You can scan it and system. You know OCRs. I believe most of you might have used OCRs. It's available on phones. Even Cam Scanner has an OCR in it. So you just click a photo, it will take out of it. Even ICRs are there. ICR is intelligent character recognition, handwritten character recognition. Places people have started using it. Several examples in the world, people have BPOs are using a lot of OCRs and ICRs. Then programs fail outside test scenarios. So you know that every test scenario or validations cannot be performed, or automation scenarios cannot be performed. So in those cases, you come into AI and you depend on AI to say that, okay, which are the best scenarios or the scenarios that should be addressed on a day-to-day basis, or how it should be addressed. Suitable, not suitable for practical situations. So when you come into a practical situation, for example, you are in a bank, there is a fraud detection that happens. Okay, so every time you cannot go and look, a person cannot look at each and every transaction that's happening. Is it possible? No, because there's a lot of transactions happening. You cannot always look at the transactions and say that, okay, this is a fraud, this is not a fraud. Humans cannot do that. Okay, that's a practical. That's impractical, I would say. So in those kind of scenarios, you will come into machine learning or even deep learning, so that the system is always looking at each and every transaction and trying to flag it. So you might have already seen that SBI is calling you saying that, hey guy, hey, have you did this particular transaction to Alibaba or AliExpress? Whenever they see that there is some kind of a different transaction or foreign exchange transaction that has been done, because it got flagged. And once it gets flagged, there is an automated IVR system that initiates the calls. So these are all initiatives, or I would say things that is in real life you will be seeing where AI is used, challenges, I would say. Now, here is where artificial intelligence looks like. Okay, this is a pretty explanatory diagram. So when you look at AI, AI is a very huge term. So first you have to divide AI into various horizontals and verticals. So as you see here, one is detection, reasoning, and problem solving. Based on the kind of problem, you bring in AI into it. Then you have knowledge representation. So for example, you know that you have a specific knowledge, or you have some documents from where you wanted to create some kind of outcomes out of it. You use AI for planning. For example, when I say planning, for example, in the next quarter or in the next 2 years, what is going to be the revenue that TCS is going to make or any other company is going to make. So based on all the kind of permutation combinations or statistical kind of things, algorithms that you use, you can say this is what is happening. Computer vision. Lot of AI is being used in computer vision to identify a lot of things. Okay, you might have seen in IKEA website itself, there is you can go there, you can look for a sofa, then it will say that okay, these are the kind of sofas that's available, product recommendations, a lot of things are there in today available. Social intelligence, a very, I would say, not very old area. It's a bit of new area that's coming in. So finding out trends in social intelligence, social mapping, etc. Machine learning is one part of artificial intelligence. It's a part of, and it's also it is something like from machine learning only other things gets evolved. Okay, so AI, as you see, these are the various sections of AI. And from all these sections, one of the major sections that we would be covering is the machine learning session along with deep learning. So these are the two areas you will see, and NLP also, I'll just talk about it. So as you see here, machine learning has majorly 3 different areas. Okay, you look for supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learnings. Example, supervised learning. Supervised learning means if you have a data and you know that what is this data looking like, or you know what is exactly this data looks like. For example, you go to a second standard, you know who are the people inside second standard who are learning. Let's think Robin is a person or a child who is learning at second standard. You look at everyone, you know that these people are from second standard. Now you go to third standard, you know that all these people are from third standard. So you have a label there. What is the label? This guy Robin is studying in third standard. Now there is another person like Rajeshri, let's take. We don't know in which class she is studying, if she was in school. But looking at her, you cannot decide that. Now what do you have to do? You have to bring in more and more Rajeshris to understand, okay, what is, and from their height, weight, you'll try identifying the features. And we are trying to put up and we are asking her questions. That is where unsupervised learning happens. We'll ask her, okay, are you from third standard? Are you from fourth standard? She'll say, okay, I'm in third standard. Then you will keep Rajeshri into the third standard bucket. Then you will, again, this will go on. The math, you will have to go through thousands of data to identify certain features for that data and finally get a label for that particular activity. And that's called unsupervised learning. In real life, you might have seen a lot of areas there is unsupervised learning happening. Supervised learning, label data, everything. Anything that you have a label data, you know that this particular data belongs to this particular outcome. So the fact is matched to the data. It means it's supervised learning. When you don't have a fact, you have to ask for the fact. You have to find for that fact. That is called unsupervised learning. Reinforcement learning, perfect example is automated vehicles or vehicles that is trying to learn, like human brain. So you know that a red signal means that you have to stop your vehicle. Green signal means you have to start your vehicle, or your yellow signal means you have to be ready to start your vehicle, whatever. Now this is a learning human gains on the go. Like for example, a kid who is trying to put his or her hand in hot water. Okay. So we might say him, don't put hand in hot water. He might not listen to it. But when he puts his hand in hot water, he starts crying. So anytime he sees the hot water, he knows that, okay, fine, or something, his eyes is able to understand this is hot water. I should not put hands in it. That is called reinforcement learning. So you get a result or you get rewarded because of that reward, the result. So the reward can be positive or negative. So it can be either you will get burned by the hot water, or you know that that's the difference between hot water and cold water and which place you have to put your hands. So that is called reinforcement learning. So once again, your machine learning or artificial intelligence, from there you have machine learning, deep learning, you see the knowledge representation, blah, 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 natural language processing, everything is there. But the most of the people use this machine learning and the deep learning part of it. In machine learning, you have various divisions like supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Today, a lot of people have started moving into reinforcement learning because that's the way humans learn, how you drive vehicles, how robots are trying to emulate humans. Even robotics and motion and manipulation works based on reinforcement learnings mostly. Supervised learning, you know that this is the data, this is the correlation. So when a new data comes in, you know that which class to this particular data belongs to. So most of you might have seen the dog and the cat data and all those kind of things. You know that how a dog looks like, you know how a cat looks like, because it's a human brain. But certain times you don't know, looking at something that's a dog or a cat. Someone should give you the information that this is a dog or a cat. That's where unsupervised learning, or the example which I told you earlier. And under that, you can see what are the various like decision tree algorithms, association rule. These are kind of algorithms and the kind of activities people do to get into this kind of learnings. I'm not going very deep into it because that requires more depth of understanding. Now, the next is terminology. So you have to understand in AI, there are certain terms that you should be known for. One is features. So as I've already earlier told, So you first, you take a human being. So a human being has several features on him. And I know that most of you know that. What would be the major features of a human being? Or let's take face as a input here. So what are the various features on a face? Is it silence? Let's be interactive now.
We have muted all, Robin. That's why it's silence. You can
Okay,
ask in the chat,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. I think then you guys can chat also. It's okay.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is, so from a face, if you look at the facial parameters, a face has two eyes, it has a nose, it has a mouth, it has a temple area, as you might see. That's a normal parameters or the normal facial. This you have a ear on the two sides, and face parameters. If you see, the half of the face almost resembles with the other half of the face. That's how you do the training. So you know the features of a face. So these are the certain things the machine learning also should know. How you have learned a face, same thing you have to tell that algorithm. A face means it has two eyes and the eyes looks like this. So you will say, okay, the eyes has these features: mouth, lips, nose, skin, and whatever the eyes, eyebrows. If it's a male, the difference between a male and a female is what? There might be kind of mustache. There might be a difference in the overall facial features that comes in. Okay, masculine features and feminine features. So people do that, a lot of analysis. Ears, all these kind of things are the features you feed into the algorithm or say to the algorithm, this is what is the features for you to uniquely identify a difference between a male face and a female face. Okay. Now you collect samples. So you understood what are features. So that's one of the most important terminology. Second part of it is the part that comes into plays is the samples that you have to give for training. So you have to create samples when it comes to facial recognition or face detection. The sample is your face. So collect as many types of samples here. So what kind of samples? The most important part in samples is you have to collect data across horizontal. So black faces, white faces, because the problem today is that we might only focus on a certain kind of faces. Male, female, all kinds of faces, childish faces, everything should come in. So your sample collection is really important for the algorithm to learn. The more data, more features, more kind of data, more types of data, more horizontals of data you feed in, the better your algorithm is. Now comes your feature vector. So when you when you talk about the feature vector, it's the numerical features that represent some of the objects. So certain times you need to give some numerical, because in a face it's okay, but at least you need not have that. For example, let's think that you wanted to predict the cost or the cost of a house in Kochi, or what would be the average rent of a house in Kochi, in let's say in a specific place like near to Lulu Mall. Now, in order to do that, you have to know what is the current specific rates near to it, what are the different kinds of houses there. So there are a lot of numerical values. So those are all dimensional vectors you have to feed into the algorithm. Mathematical values you have to feed into the algorithm. So which will take those samples and try to predict, okay, what is the best value that you can get for your house if you're giving it rent near Edapalli. Similarly, all those kind of things based on square feet, you can get some data and feed into it. These are all logistic regression kind of algorithms or feature-based algorithms. So your feature is not just a face alone, because everything is a mathematical value for your computer, ones and zeros or pixel values, because your face is a pixel value. When I say pixel value, one pixel will have RGB, red, green, blue. So each value ranges from 0 to 255. So it means that what is the RGB value based on which each color is defined on your face. So similar to that, this is all maths values. So your feature vector also should be given to the system to understand that. Then you extract features. When I say feature extraction, it means that you know your feature. So you have to exactly extract that feature using your algorithm. Now you know that the feature of a face is a nose, two eyes, eyebrows, all those kind of things, whatever that's there. Or you know how the features of a cat or a dog looks like. So once you know the features, those features should be extracted in forms of feature vector. That's really important because mathematically they should be represented to the algorithm. Because you cannot represent saying that there is a nose. You say that nose means the value that comes below the eye and above the mouth. And there are certain ways in which system will understand the feature vector, and that will be learned by the system. So whenever it sees something in a shape or in the area of that particular above the mouth and below the eyes, It knows that it should be a nose. It will look for the feature of a nose, how it looks like, and then it will identify who is the person. So who it's identifying all depends on the kind of features of your face. And it transforms the data into a high dimensional space to a space of fewer dimensions, because you have a lot of data. So it will the algorithm will try to understand what is the most prominent or priority list of data I should remember. Like your brain doesn't remember everything. It knows certain value points to actually detect the person when I'm looking at it. So when I look at Rajeshri, I know that that's Rajeshri because I know how Rajeshri looks like. I know the face of Rajeshri. Or it can be anyone, Madhav sir. So this is how it looks like. So when I look at from a very big distance, you know that, okay, that's Madhav sir who's walking through that. Same happens with machine learning. It doesn't always bring in all the data to predict that's Madhav sir. What happens is it knows the core data that to predict it. What is the specific feature of Madhav sir or the metadata layer of Madhav sir to predict him. So that's called the transformation of data. Finally, training and evolution set. So you have to have training data set to go on training and bring in your more classes into your data set and all those things. Why this is really important is because your features, these are the words you should be remembering: features, samples, feature vector, feature extraction, and training. You will see these words in your whenever you come across AI. These are the major words that you will look through. Now we are going through features. I believe you understand features. You can see here. Now, what is the feature of an apple? So it is red in color, it's a fruit, its shape, all these things are features in it. But whereas you look at this gray apple, that's also an apple, but it's a logo. You have to say it's a gray in color, it's a shape. Now we know that it's a apple logo. Next, that is also an apple. Okay, that's a green apple, which is a fruit. So here the change is what? The second feature. Majorly the second feature changes here. So you can see one is a fruit, one is a logo. So this is how you give features to the system. And this is how machine learns, same as your brain learns. Okay. So brain knows the difference between first and second and third. So you train your algorithm. So you can see how usually happens. These are some of the terminologies you should be knowing. So as you saw that, you know, the features of your data set or your data set, if it's an apple, you have to identify between a logo apple and your original fruit apple. So you have collected a lot of data, you know the features of the data, you pre-process that data. Okay, some of the algorithms is like using filters, PCAs, summary statistics and all. Then you will give a supervised, because it's a supervised learning, because you're saying that this looks, this above picture here, if you see, you know that this is a fruit apple, this is a logo apple. So this has to be said here. In your supervised learning, you have label for each diagram that you're giving or each picture that you upload, and your model gets formed. Then after that, you will predict it. So you'll give some real-time pictures of apples. It can be this one, or any apple. And you will see, you'll pre-process that and give it to your model and then predict it. This is how any machine learning or any AI system works. So this is just an awareness for all of you to understand how an AI system works, how an end-to-end AI system works. So you have to have features, feature extractions needs to be done. Samples should be there. Then you train it, and this is how the end-to-end training and the prediction happens. So once you train, yeah, your model is ready. It's called a model finally. Okay, when you train the data set is called a model, and you will be working with the models for predicting it finally to see how it looks like. Now, how is AI different from ML and DL? Okay, now this is a very important question most of the people ask. What is the difference between machine learning, deep learning, and AI? So let's see what is that now. And you're going to see the exact meaning of all these things now and how the evolution of AI happened. So AI was the term that was even coined in 1950s. So that was what that existed till 1980s. Then the name came in machine learning. So most of the machine learning algorithms, if you see today, is the one is the spam detection in your emails. You might have seen in Gmail. One of the very smart machine learning algorithms that work in Gmail is the spam detection algorithm. So you know that some of the things as you delete, you don't even read it. You know that you don't want to read it. By looking at the topic itself, you will delete it. So Google learns from your email characteristics or the behavior that you do, what all you delete. And over a period of time, it knows that when this kind of a data comes in, it's a spam or it comes from different kind of phishing kind of things. So that's a machine learning algorithm. So AI is an overall concept. So for machines being able to understand some task which humans do in a way which we think it is smart. So when humans do it in a smart way, we call it as AI. AI is an umbrella term. Okay. Now machine learning is one part of AI, or is an application of AI. And again, deep learning is another more generic application of AI, I would say, where even you need not identify even features. Look, the major difference between machine learning and deep learning is in machine learning, you have to specifically say that these are the features. Okay. In the case of deep learning, you are not even saying these are the features. You're asking the system itself to say me what are the features, or you learn whatever the features, difference between the features of whatever data set I've given. So that's the basic difference between machine learning and deep learning. So basic difference, features. Machine learning requires features to be given by humans to the system, saying that these are the features which you should predict. Whereas in deep learning, you say to the system, hey, I don't know, you learn it whatever you want. So there is a neural network that you have created. So the system will automatically look at your picture and or whatever that is that you have given, multiple pictures, and try to find out what is the best features that it has to learn. So that is the best way to do it, I would say. Deep learning is the best way to do it because you are not biasing the system. You are saying the system, you learn it in whatever way and say me and play me back and say me what you have learned from it. So that's what is the deep learning. Now, what is the exact meaning of machine learning? That is the second point that's given there. Okay, a computer program. So this is the one biggest explanation that comes for machine learning in any of the sessions if you go through. So a program is said to learn from an experience E with respect to some task T. So you have an experience, you have a task T, and some performance measure P. If its performance on T as measured by P improves with experience E. So as much as possible, your experience is improving, then and your task is able to perform much more better. Okay, and your performance metrics as measured by P is improving based on the experience E. It means that it's a machine learning algorithm, or that is what is called machine learning algorithm. To put it in a nutshell, much more easier. Your task, if it is minimizing the efforts and it is intelligently able to decide what it is able to do and make decisions that is proper, as I told you, spam. Second, classifying your mails. You might have seen in your Gmail, it is trying to classify your mails into promotions or social or more important priority mails. All those is it's trying to learn, or it's trying to take a look at your data and it's trying to learn. So your experience at which when you try to drag and put something from your core to social, it understands that is an experience you're saying to the system. Hey, this should not come in my this one, this has to come here. Now that's a learning that you give. Now from next time that same mail comes in, similar kind of mail comes in, if it comes to your priority window, it means that it is not improving. It's not the machine learning is not proper. Your algorithm has to be changed. So if it goes directly to the social, it means that your machine learning is improving based on whatever task that it is doing. So that's the overall information of how machine learning works, and making it more and more accurate, because you cannot make a machine learning algorithm that's accurate on day one. It is more of building that experience day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and finally are you able to hear me? I think I got muted.
It's fine. It's fine now.
Okay, fine. So we already saw different categories of machine learning. So supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So supervised is task driven. So you know the relationship with your data. The other one is more data driven, because you don't know you're not much aware of the relationship or labels, but slowly that relationship get built up based on more and more data that comes in. Reinforcement is learning from the mistakes. For example, especially your traffic thing, the example I was saying, and a child who is trying to learn the difference between hot and cold water. So he gets the senses out of it. So this is the simplest terms in which I can explain you the difference between machine learning, different types of machine learning. Now coming into machine learning versus deep learning, what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning? So as I told you, you have an input image. So some person will sit here and try to find out what is the features of this input image. Now this is a car. So you have 2 wheels, you have a window. So from the side, it looks like this. From the front, it looks, it has a window and whatever bonnet and all those things. Its color, everything will be given. Then you will train an algorithm, a classification algorithm. And then you will give another car image. So it will detect whether it is a car. 2 classes are there, car or not car. It will detect that it is a car or a not car. That is called a machine learning model. Whereas coming into a deep learning model, you just give a car as the input. So many cars will go to this input. You're not, this person is not there. No feature extraction is happening. Feature extraction actually happens in the neural network layers here. You have written a neural network layer, which will automatically learn the features or try to extract those features from the car by itself, like a human does. Look, how does a human looking at a whole house and saying that it is a house? Because a human knows that these are the features of a house. It automatically tries to learn it. Same thing happens in a deep learning, like more realistic human mind or human brain approach is what is deep learning is what I can say. So these are the differences. Now coming into deep learning, you saw what is machine learning. So artificial intelligence includes both machine learning and deep learning. You can see the picture here, how it looks like. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning with neural networks to imitate the working of a human brain. So it's imitating, as I already told you. It makes use of neural networks because your brains are completely built on neurons. And I believe most of you know that. So it's similar to that. So you're writing neurons or neural networks behind this to make sure this connectivity is done. And these neurons are connected to make decisions. Whereas in machine learning, it's just features. So you write, this is the feature, this is the feature, and the system learns on that feature. So why is AI the future? So till now you have, look, well, let's recap till what we have seen. So till now what we have been seeing is we've been trying to understand, okay, what is the, what was AI? What are the various kinds of AI, types of AI, machine learning, deep learning? And you also saw how each process got evolved, or I would say what is the differences between all these kind of things and what is the exact meaning of AI and all those kind of activities. Now, let us now, there is also a few fields in AI. You might have seen image part of it, NLP. NLP is a natural language processing where text related data, when you start looking at text related data, it is called NLP, natural language processing. So you look at the text, you try to understand that text. That field is called NLP. Whereas when you look at image and image related data, it's called image processing. When you look at voice and speech, it's called the speech processing area. When you have video and video analytics, for example, live video, you're watching a game. Now you might have seen in games, there is a lot of things happen, like pausing moments and goals happening. Euro Cup. There is a very latest research happening. Whenever there is a goal moment, that part of the video will be recorded, or that that particular part, 5 seconds or 10 seconds, will be just taken out, and that will be replayed. Do you think that replay is happening because they are just recording it and doing it? No, there are AI algorithms now. They just take that moment, they will play that moment back to the user, and during playing that moment, if you observe it, even the advertisements may change in the background. So they can even embed advertisements live. Instead of it might be showing Emirates, the next time it is replaying it, it will show that is a Qatar Airlines or Qatar's or different advertisement. See the way in which AI is involving, especially video analytics space. So these are the different places where we are using. Now let's see what is AI, why AI is the future of, and why we call it is as a future. Especially future of AI, when you look at from a transportation perspective, driverless cars and more safety, more reliability, more efficiency. From pollution perspective, also there is a lot of work happening. Teslas are working on it. Even we have Tata Elxsi, Tata Motors. A lot of works is happening in the perspective of transportation today. And even from cargo perspective, we are doing a lot of projects with many of the TTH customers, that is travel and transportation customers, to optimize their cargoes, and especially during COVID-19, which are the routes to be optimized, because you know that it's a very huge hit to the transport industry because of COVID. So they have to optimize their travels, cargoes, everything to make sure they also survive in this market. Now coming into other applications, so you have seen the challenges that's solved by AI. The applications are mostly like autonomous vehicles, a smartphone as app, AI on edge. You might know that now. Some of the people are even providing it, so you can even interact with your car through your IoT platform and all those kind of things. And you know which are the cars that's doing that now. Traffic management solutions, especially Singapore. Singapore has started this. So based on the traffic density and all, it completely changes the network of its traffic lights and all those kind of things. Law enforcement also happening. Passenger transportation, especially the buses. So if the density of people, it will look at how many people are waiting in each bus stops, based on which it will decide, okay, it will completely change the way in which how the buses needs to be plying. And their scheduling of the buses will get changed. So these are very latest things happening in Singapore, in very developed countries, Germany, etc. Coming into manufacturing, what is that AI is trying to solve is maintenance quality. It is looking at each and every detection, risk, failures, predictive maintenance, process optimization, safety, cost reduction. Especially very new recent studies are going on when you come into a manufacturing plant, whether you are adhering to the compliance, for example, wearing mask, wearing the PPE kits, all those kind of things, faster decision making and cost reduction. And in manufacturing, that's really important. And a lot of research is happening in the Toyotas and the big manufacturing centers. Now, if you look at the applications, one is digital twin using AI, virtual representation, so that you are, instead of directly going and doing everything and testing it out, you can do a virtual representation of the real world asset and work along with that asset. That's called digital twins. This will help you in product designing, optimization, because even before you start building it up, you know that how this, what will be the tolerance, what will be the risk, what will be the logistics optimization that you need to apply to it. Predictive maintenance, most of you know that. So you know that when your machine is going to get damaged, and we are just working with one of the biggest customers from Australia. They are one of the customers where they have aluminum ores. It's called calciners. This big refinery kind of, where they put they create aluminum from the ore kind of. So they do the maintenance every 4 or 5 years. So they are trying to digitize that. Till date, what they do is they come up with uh, paper related drawings of these calciners and say, okay, these are the areas where the calciner has to be maintained or maintenance needs to be applied. But what happens usually is they don't have any digital systems. Now we are completely putting it into a digital system and predicting, okay, what part of this calciner will go wrong in next 4 years, so that the maintenance can be planned early itself, so that it will not affect their business. Even generative designs, new kinds of designs, what is the best designs that can come up? So that's a new designing with the help of machine learning, designs with machine learning. You might have already seen that Microsoft and a lot of people are doing that activity as of now. Applications are there. Here you can see healthcare. As you all know, a lot of investment is happening in the healthcare, accelerating clinical decisions, medical imaging, health equity, patient care, operational efficiency. Applications include cancer diagnosis. Lot of people are investing in this, especially the bigger pharma and healthcare companies. Virtual health assistants are there already in the market now. Management of the medical records. Even today, I was in another discussion with a customer, finding out the hidden patterns in the medical history, so that they can apply insurance based on how the hidden patterns looks like. So these are the latest kind of things that's happening from healthcare and pharma. Education, as most of you know, people are moving towards this, like the Byju's and all, applying reverse augmented reality, artificial intelligence, enhancing the problem solving capability, providing more cerebral and cognitive capability through pictorial representation, preparing improvement space, data fluency kind of things is where AI is being applied. So intelligent tutoring, we have robots now, a lot of places. Even we are using robots for training our specially able children across Kerala. So smart content development and all those kind of things. Media, lot of spaces, a lot of things are happening in the media, especially social media, creation of content using GANs, generative adversarial networks. It's a deep learning kind of algorithm. So automatic generation of content. Even we are doing that for a retail, one of the biggest retail industries in the world, where you see the kind of different images. It will generate the content for that images in a very nice tone. Okay. Even getting some kind of social media ads, instead of people posting it, it'll know that, okay, what is the kind of ads people are looking at from the inside data, and the system will decide what is the best ad to post, and it will write the content, it will get the picture, and it will post it. So these are the kind of things. In Amazon, if you have seen, there is one thing, you go to Amazon, all the kind of videos that is there in Amazon, the videos, most of these videos are auto generated based on the content that has been provided by the vendor. Okay. So it looks at the content, it can create its own videos. So similar to that. So media creation is happening a lot, especially GPT-3 is one of the content. You can just Google out GPT-3, how content can be generated using that. Robot journalists are there today. Instead of actual journalists, robot journalists are coming in. Interactive personalized content, even GAN based, different avatars of journalists are coming, content recommendations are coming to you. You know that in Flipboard and all those kind of things, there are content recommendations based on what you buy. Even Amazon gives you content recommendation. Okay, next question, all of you, for you guys. Now you have seen how AI is there. Now, do you think AI can augment your current job in any of the following? So is it in natural language processing? So if you feel that there is a lot of text that you go through, or these are the things, some mining has to be done in the text perspective, or there is a process automation, you're doing a mundane task on a day-to-day basis, there are certain things that you do. Image related problems that you're facing, you're going through certain images and you're trying to find out some kind of insights from that images. Speech and voice related use case. Let me see what is the kind of relevant things for you. So for this, you can go to again to the Mentimeter, and the code is given here, 560-99701. Once again, 560-99701. So we have 4 votes coming in. So most of them say that they have process automation of mundane tasks. 6 votes have come in. 7. Good. So we have 8 votes. Most of them say they have process automation, or they want to do some kind of automation from their day-to-day activities or processes or workflows that they do. Some of them face problems in the speech and voice domain. Great. Yeah, so 2 of them are saying they have NLP related problems. Good. So we have 15 inputs coming. Great. Most of them say that you have process automation. Great. Yeah. If you look at overall use cases that came to our lab in the last 2 years, especially after the pandemic has broken, and we have seen it, at least you look at the last 14-15 months, what we have seen is most of the use cases, most of the customers have started moving into the process automation phase because they wanted to automate their mundane task. Thanks. Now let's go to the next part of it. Can AI change society? Most important topic from our lab. We are using a lot of AI to create change in the society. Now this is a very important picture for us. So this is a project that we have been doing for cerebral palsy children and autism children in a school in Kochi. So we visited the school. Our DCH, Dinesh Thampi, is also a part of KMA. So he asked us to visit the school and he asked us to see what can be done here in the school using technology. So when we visited there, we found that a lot of children with autism and cerebral palsy are there. Almost like 60% of the children are having cerebral palsy. So we wanted to support them. So once we were in the school, we found that the most important problem is that they didn't like to come to school. Because when we were identifying the problem, is because there are physical therapy sessions that happen. It's very painful. You know that if you break a leg and you go through the physical therapy session, it's too painful for them. Same thing with these children. They are born with having issues in their limbs and kind of things. And you're applying the physical therapy. They're going and they thinking the physical therapy, they don't come to the school. So what we thought is, why don't we gamify physical therapy? Bring in some characters because they are children. So bring some characters to them, bring them some kind of motivation so they can do it. So what we invented is, we invented a AI plus VR plus gamified use case, or I would say solution, which made these children play games without them knowing that they are going through physical therapy. It has been there for the last 4 to 5 years, changing almost 2,000 plus children, I could say. So there's a lot of techniques in this analytics, everything. So you can see one Sharon Suresh here. So he was not able to walk much even with crutches. So this is after almost 6 to 7 months. He has gone through VHAB. So just he started VHAB and you can see how he's being walking. He needs assistance in walking. And this is even after 6 to 7 months he has gone through VHAB. The next screen you can see he's practicing VHAB. So he's trying to practice, and he's almost a year plus he was on VHAB, practicing physical therapy. He was never willing to go to the school because of the pain that was going through. Now you can see how he walks up and down the stairs because since he was not able to walk the stairs up and down, his parents had to carry him from the 11th floor of the building to bottom floor certain times. That was the problem we had. Sorry, So I think you can see that how confident he is and how AI or technology can change a person, how he can, the confidence with which he is able to climb the stairs. And this is a huge change AI has brought in, or I would say gamification plus AI has brought in, because this system is able to identify what is the best options, how much adaptive this person is. Or when he plays the game, it will say, okay, fine, this is the best game for him. It will even create games for him or takes games for him, which is best for him based on the way in which he's playing. Adaptive, like your GRE exam. It's adaptive. So he was not able to do a complex game, it will go to a simple game kind of. So this is another use case assister, which is based on speech. So we have taken the speech input from Anugrah. Anugrah is a person we have been working again from the school. So we have taken speech input from him and we have created a device called Assisto, and which is able to speak. So he can speak through this device. He has been using it for some more time. Now he has completely transferred it to his own tablet that is there. So that has been digitized also now. So there is a deep speech algorithm we have given, taking his sound, because he's having slurred sound. So you can hear to him. So he's trying to ask for a glass of water, but it's very difficult for us to hear that he was saying. Now we brought in design plus AI kind of a change, because this particular device that we invented, as you see in this. This was one of our prototypes. It will be able to understand what he is communicating. So this is based on AI. Gesture is converted, and various types of devices are there based on the moving part of the body.
My name is Anagra.
So you can see how Anagra is using this device. Okay. So there are a lot of people who are using this device today, and they are able to communicate properly. So it's enabling their communication. It's called AAC, Alternative and Augmentative Communication. Now you can actually hear the original speech of Anugrah. So this is how he asked for a glass of water, but now you can see how the device communicates when he feeds the input. And that is his actual sound also. We have taken the vocal tract information and using deep speech algorithms, we have trained it. So this is the power of AI, which are the power of technology, how it changes. So some of the use cases you would see, this is a official video available on TCS social media channels in Twitter, in LinkedIn. You can look at that, where we are using AI and other technologies.
Anugraha very much enjoyed session with Manu and Robin sir from TCS. Happy to hear his own voice and also to hear clearly whatever he communicates.
What is quality? Quality is extremely hard to define.
So Verbose is an application that we have developed for hearing loss people for their education and all those things. This is used in Urja for some time, especially during the period of COVID and all those things. Okay, so where can you find AI? So that's the next part of it. So I'm going to show you some of the examples where we have applied AI. So there was a very, I would say, one core example that we had applied for one of our customers. So they wanted to find out metal engravings. So this was done during one of the exercises. So you can see, so we came up with a OCR kind of an algorithm, live image algorithms, where it is able to, it's an image processing algorithm. So anywhere there is a metal engraving or anything, we were able to find it out. So the data, you can see how the data was getting printed. So all the information, this is what they were looking for. So you take a picture. So this was warehouse operations. So you can see this is again another metal engraving. You take a picture, it will say what is the value on that. So instead of with a pen and paper, you go and take it down. So all the informations can be made available in this kind of a use case. Now see this will take some time for a human to analyze and say, but you can see how a machine is understanding that, okay, wherever you want it to be done. So I just wanted to show you some common examples where AI gets applied, especially from the, and we are also today working on remote rehab or wellness application, because most of the people are now at home. And as you know, when you are at home, so wellness is really important for you guys. So how we have used technologies, especially AI, there is a post recognition technology. that's tracking your entire body and how you are able to do the exercises. So I'm just stopping it because of time constraints. So we have some more slides to go. So now we have another question here. So you can go to the menti.com, give the code 23937363. What is the most inspiring journey in the till now what you have seen in AI session you liked? So you have seen several examples now how AI is used in warehouses, how AI can be used for wellness, your yoga. Even we released an app called Prana during the International Yoga Day using the same technology that you've just seen. And even we have been supporting social activities, a lot of places, transportation. So what is the most inspiring thing that you liked out of this journey? So your code is 23937363. Okay, so we have one answer: social change. Great. Healthcare. Gamified physiotherapy, handicap. Great. Sure. So most of you wanted to see how most of you are looking for the way in which healthcare is changing. Social speech assistance, transportation. Great. So we have 13 people, 14 people voting. So you can see the word cloud coming in. So great. So this is this. So I believe you understood how where AI can be used and the live examples where we have used AI from our lab. Now, some more AI is being used in daily life. Face recognition. Most of you know we are even working on a face recognition core algorithms now. What is the item that she is holding in hand? It's a Coca-Cola can. And even what is the person who is looking there? Even secure transactions, fraud detecting for fraud and all. So even we have Shalini ma'am, she might be also doing this for Federal Bank, all the fraud kind of transactions, detecting the movements of funds here and there. What is the different kinds of movements that's happening? What should be tagged? What should be untagged? Kind of things. Now the next part of it is how to build a career in AI. Look, now you've seen there is a lot of buzz in AI. There is a lot of things that's in AI. A lot of things you can do with AI. It's like a horizontal. Wherever you are there, you can apply AI. Okay, it can be process automation, NLP, or whatever you want. You can do it. But if you want to build a career in AI, you have to understand, okay, where AI can be used. So we have seen there speech to text, text analytics, movie recommendations, etc. And why AI is required. So because AI will bring all these kind of ingredients to you. So one is competitive edge, because today you might be doing certain mundane things. Now, if you want to stand out of the normal crowd, AI will help you in that. Accessibility, very important, because whatever you do, okay, accessibility is really important. Now, if you take all the applications in the world, 90% of the applications are not accessible, and you know that the reason because we are not considering disabled society or divinely able society into the picture of any applications. But world is changing, and you know that COVID has given us a lot of thoughts, a lot of change, and has reminded us we have to consider everyone, and society is really important. Fear of missing out, cost effectiveness, and future proofing. Okay, so this is the reason why artificial intelligence is taking over. How to build a career, because solidify your software skills, really important. You have to be a strong programmer. You need to have a well-engineered code. You should be doing that. Practice coding in Python and R, because these are the core languages with which most of the people today write AI algorithms. Strong data management. You should understand your data. You should know what is your right data. You should know how to clean the data. You should know what is the relationship with your data. Now, develop a good understanding of the basics of machine learning. So what is the fundamental algorithms, the type of problems, know the business, very important. It's not just you know that machine learning part of it, you should know your business. You should understand, okay, where you should apply AI, because everywhere you should not apply AI. It doesn't make any sense for you. So you have to understand where you're working, where you're going towards, what is the future, and what is your leadership guidelines. So finally, you have to map your entire skills towards that, and finally make sure that this is how you do it. And specifically important is listening skills. Listen to others. What is the problem they face? Now, how to build AI in career in AI. So there is a beautiful course by edX. You can attend this course in online. If you are looking for doing that for managers, you can go through this course to just understand, okay, what is the kind of things that's happening. Then get certified, because Google Cloud, AWS, Azure all has certifications now. Go for it. then you find a proper mentor, I would say, because a mentor can help you in visionizing your journey and be updated on what is the latest trends happening in AI. Now, tips to learn AI, you can go and take courses in Coursera, Code Academy, or Intro to Statistics. These are the courses. I'll share the slide so that you know that where is it coming from. Some of the selected courses, what we have done in our lab also is machine learning. For if you're looking for research kind of roles and all those kind of things, this is where it will help you. Take part in as much as context, because experience matters a lot in AI. So go to Google, Kaggle, coding game, Hacker Earth, because data is important. You can get a lot of data from here. Attempt those and you will get a lot of idea. And with that, I come to an end here. So you can keep in touch with me on LinkedIn, and this is the link for that. Thank you, guys. Over to you for questions.
Thank you. I think, Robin, for demystifying artificial intelligence very progressively, very simply, taking us through the different steps, helping everybody understand what AI is, what are the elements, the different industries, scenarios where it is going to come into effect. Of course, those touching moments where you've been able to impact, the differently abled and make the society more inclusive. And lastly, for a lot of the keen learners in terms of, what are the ways and links and courses that they can take up to enhance and gain knowledge in this space. Right. Thank you so much. And let's open it up for Q&A. I'm just checking the chat box to see if we have any questions. So there was one question which it's more of an observation or an experience where somebody is, I think Mr. Rajul has said that the experience with chatbots has not been very positive. So is it because it is yet to mature, and how does this play out in future?
Okay, so look, it depends on what is the kind of chatbots you use from the backend perspective. Okay, now look, if you look at Google's chat engine, so there is something called Google Chat Engine GPT-3. So that is one of the best that's coming up. Even that is also having flows, but a lot of learning is happening from a chat engine perspective. So what I would say is, if you start using, you just go to GPT-3, see the APIs available in GPT-3 for their chat backends. One of the most generic chat engines today exist in the world, and it also depends on how you train your chats. Okay, so it is also how humans feed the data to the chat engine. It's always dependent on the data. If your data is not proper, this all will break. So you cannot blame the technology here or the chat engine here. It's more of how you deal that particular technology, how humans are providing the right data to the technology to create the right aspects or the outcomes that you can get out of it. So chats, lot of human dependency is there. But whereas if you look at images and all, they don't lie. But here you have a lot of images, text information needs to be given and all those kind of things. So yeah, so that is the reason I would say here. But it depends. I think Shalini has answer to it.
No, I don't have an answer to it, but I was coming in with a question if I could.
Sure, go ahead. No?
So I just wanted to understand, in your assessment, which industry has evolved the most in the use of AI? I mean, is it the automotive industry? Is it the financial services industry? Is it healthcare? What's your assessment?
Okay, if you look at that depends on the kind of industry also. For example, the mostly advanced AI algorithms today run in the retail space.
In the
retail.
Okay.
It can be the Walmarts, the Walgreens, any retail stores you take, they are running huge algorithms. Amazon's best example is Amazon, I would say, online retail stores and all.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you go backwards, bankings are using a lot. Retail bankings are using a lot of AI algorithms. If you look at the perspective of automobiles, they mostly bet on the reinforcement learning, which is a very new space where they are trying to automated vehicles, driverless cars, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, it's in research. Even Tata Elxsi, Tata Consultancy Services, everyone is doing a research in that. They're doing a lot of core research in it. But from such, I would say, supervised and unsupervised learning, retails are first.
Okay.
Telecoms coming in the second part of it, I would say. Media coming in the third part of it, and also the BFSIs after that, I would say, kind of. This is more from my experience, I would say, when I've been working with all these kind of industries. And high techs also. Today, a lot of high techs are doing it, manufacturing and high techs.
Thank you.
No one is asking a question. Let me just ask you, Robin. You said about media, utilizing AI to a great extent. Can you just quote some examples so that people will understand?
If you look at the Chinese media giants, okay, if you look at any of their media channels, you might think that the news is being actually read by a person. No, it is actually read by avatars. So there is a lot of GAN avatars that we do. Even today we do for conversational chatbots, as someone was asking the question. So instead of putting just a chat text there, now we are coming up with avatars. So tomorrow you might see not me even presenting the session. My avatar, real avatar, near real avatar that may be presenting this session. You will never be able to even differentiate between me and that avatar. You might have seen that deep fakes. Obama's the first one that roped the world was the deep fake by Obama, where you can never even make out whether it was Obama or it was a fake Obama. Actually, it was a fake Obama. And that was a controversy. So today, a lot of people are using it for positive sense. It can be used for positive and negative sides of it. But medias are using it for this kind of things. So late night newses, if you want to make it more interactive, bring in avatars. That's more, and avatars can also show emotions on their face. So that is where we see a lot of advancements happening from media. And also there is a lot of media interventions happening. For example, there's a very latest research where even we are doing for one of the biggest media companies of the world is, for example, you have a movie. Okay, let's take some children movie, Jungle Book. Now what happens is that these people bring in like 50 or 60 people to see this preview of this movie. And this preview, during this preview, they collect the information from their brain. There are now devices called brain-computer interfaces. So they put this device on the brain and try to see how the children was getting excited with this movie. What all parts of the movie excited him? What all colors excited him? What all sounds excited him? They go back and rework on this movie, and then only they will release this movie. A lot of analysis is happening in that. Even we were a part of one of the biggest movies in the world, I would say, doing this kind of analysis. This data comes to us, we do a lot of analysis over that and say, this is what you should implement during these parts of the movie because it seems boring for children, and category wise also. So a lot of work is happening in media.
Yeah, good.
Robin, there's a question. Is there any AI tool that's made available for public use?
Yeah, there is one. 1 minute. I don't know, we are exceeding time, but I'll just share my screen. Sorry guys, I didn't show you that. So there is a excellent tool. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in this, you just search for Google AI experiments. Okay. In Google AI experiments, just go to Google AI experiment. There is something called teachable machine. You can yourself, it's a low code tool, even a no code tool, I would say. You need not even learn how to do a model in that. So in this, if you come here, you will see there is something called teachable machine. You just launch this experiment. It's a very simplest tool, I can say, which can help you in your day-to-day life. We have used this a lot for people who are completely paralyzed, so that when they show some gesture, it will be an emergency call for their parents or well-wishers who has to come there, caregivers, I would say. So here, if you look, you can give your own data. So if I put get started, so there are three types of models you can create. One based on images, second based on audios, third based on pose. Pose means whatever posture actions. We are using this pose a lot because some people can show their hands and do like this to a camera in front. Camera will be able to understand that he needs help, and it will send messages to people, sirens and everything kind of things. If you have a standard model, you can create, this is called class. So you can say Robin. So 1 minute, I'll just show you one example. I'm just closing my video here. I'll take my allow. So it will take my pictures. I'll just take, let me see if I can evoke. So this is my photo. I just hold to record some images. Okay, some 30 images. I can also put mobile. I'll switch on my webcam. When I put like this, I'm just putting some images for training. Okay, so I have two classes. One is mobile and one is Robin. Click train model. You'll see it's click of a button, nothing else you need to do. You can get a model and you can export this model, put into your mobile phones or anywhere. But you need some skills to do this activity basically. Meanwhile, this gets trained. No, I can take one more question.
So another thing is, where is AI likely to be in 10 years from now? And is the investment in it expensive since it's replacing human interventions?
AI from 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, if you ask me, look, that's a huge, I would say a heavy question, because AI is going to be there everywhere. Okay. You are going to see AI in your daily life on the equipments that you're going to use. You're going to see AI everywhere, I would say, in gaming, in your Zoom. Look, you're seeing it in Zoom. No, look, what are the features that is there in Zoom today? Guys, I think there is a problem with because it's a heavy load that's running. So I don't know whether I'll be able to show it, but just train it. I would have shown you. Let me see if I can refresh this. Okay, I'll do that. So what I was saying is that AI on a daily life, you're going to see AI on a daily life. You're also going to see AI from the perspective of, as I was earlier saying, how AI is going to help people on a day-to-day basis. AI is going to be there even on any small equipments that you're going to buy. So there is any edge equipments, military, everywhere you're going to see AI. You're going to see the applications of AI, and it's not too far away. I would say everything will get intelligence enabled. But said that, we are also trying. We have to also make sure that because there is already regulations being brought by Facebook, by Google. There are standards being brought so that ethically it is not entering into the personal lives. It is not affecting your GDPRs. All those kind of things are also really important for from AI perspective. So yeah, so that's what I would say. But AI is going to be everywhere. Name it, your vehicles are going to have it. Your morning when you lift up your brush, there is new toothbrush that's coming in where it has small cameras in it. It can actually detect where to apply your more how to brush it in particular places. I don't think so I'll be able to train it. I think it's a huge load going on. It needs some processing capability. But if it comes in, I'll show you guys. It's training. Good. I think some of the thread got released. So brush, vehicles, you go to your office, you see your Office 365 has a lot of AI in it. Your mails have AI in it. Okay, so everything will have an AI element that you're going to see. So can you see here class 1 and class 2 is already trained. Class 1 was Robin actually. You can see here class 1, 21 images I have given. 100% accuracy, it's saying it's Robin. Now I bring in mobile phone here. Let me see if it is able to detect it. Can you see in class 2, it is able to detect mobile phone with 99% accuracy or 100% accuracy? This is the live example I can show you. So even you can export this model. It's called the model. You can download this model and it always says you how to use this model in the programs. Okay, there is a GitHub link also that has been created for it. So this is a live example I can show you, I would say.
Yeah, Robin, I think we'll.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, we'll wind up. And just one constant question that's coming up, Robin, is in terms of will you be able to share the presentation?
Yeah, I will share the presentation. Some of the things I have to delete before I share it, but for sure, I can share you the presentation for sure. Yep, we'll do that.
Right. Okay. Okay. So thank you. I think thanks, Robin, for taking the time, giving a very elaborate session and making it very interactive and interesting and very simple. It's not easy to demystify, like I said, a topic like AI and make it, make everybody understand. So thank you for doing that. Thank you, Shalini ma'am, for putting all of this together, for spearheading the session and, bringing the most prolific speakers always. And thanks to Madhav for joining in and all the other members of KMA as well. Thank you so much and wishing everybody a good evening and good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajeshri. Thank you, Rajeshri, for introducing the speaker and taking the Q&A session also after that and summarizing the entire session. Well, that was a very special session. Thanks to Madam Shalini for identifying the topic and getting Robin, even though he's a good friend of mine, it was Madam's credit that you are here today, and you could make out from the number of attendees present here and the way in which more than 100+ state till the end, because even though it was a tough topic, not our usual subject like the way KMA operates, we have got all these management sessions and theoretical points on leadership, but this is something which is more technically oriented, but you could make out that the audience was inclined towards that. Machine learning, deep learning, NLP, etc., and the kind of theory which you explain in such simple language, actually, even though people who are not really oriented towards the technology part also could follow. I'm sure I can see Dr. Vijay Kumar and all sitting there till the end and understanding, and I could see the looks on many of their eyes, as to they were understanding the technology in a very, very simple form. And of course, even though we talked about ML, DL and all, the empathy and the empowerment using technology was the big hit today, I guess, the way in which we have and Assisto applications helping those special children, special students. We only think of Amazons and other online solutions when we think about AI, and that is where you showed that there is another angle to the whole thing. It's not only destructive or dangerous, but there are a lot of things where we can touch that human aspect of technology into the human, into the whole system. Thank you so much, Robin. It couldn't have been better, because as Rajeshri rightly said, such a vast topic, such a deep topic with deep learning. You actually covered, whatever was is relevant to the audience, and at least they will remember some of the terms which you used and the kind of things which go behind all these solutions when we see an Amazon delivery happening, or when you see a website where all these kinds of selections happening, or when you see a mail where it is coming to you, thinking of your travel plans without you even sharing that with anybody else. All these things are AI related, they will at least understand that. And thank you so much. And I'm sure our secretary is going to propose a formal vote of thanks. But before that, let me just inform the gathering here that we have a few more sessions coming up this month itself. We have the next StartCon session, that is the startup conversation with the newbies, the startup companies, coming up on Wednesday, the 14th of July. Mr. Binu Agustin, co-founder of Heka Medicals India Private Limited, and Mr. Sujit Surendran, co-founder of 8V Digital Transformations Private Limited from the medical field. They are coming up on 14th of July, that's next Wednesday at 6 p.m. And we have the next of the Leader Talk series, the lecture happening on 21st by Mr. Samir Vakil, the founder of Global Inker in Mumbai. So that is on 21st July, Wednesday. Mr. Samir Vakil is going to address us in the Leader Talk series of lectures. We also plan to have one more workshop for the MSME forum to dwell on the central government schemes for the MSMEs. That could be sometime in the last week of July, and one more session with a CEO under the CEO forum called as a rendezvous with CEO, which is also planned for this month. So please note all these dates. We'll be sending you information on WhatsApp and email and other communication modes. So please keep in touch with KMA. And now it's time for our Honorary Secretary, Jomon K. George, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Thank you, Shalini Madam, once again, before I hand it over to Mr. Jomon George.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Respected President KMA, Madhav Chandran, the Chairperson of the Women Managers Forum, Madam Shalini Warrior, today's very, very eloquent, able, experienced speaker, Robin Tommy, Rajshri Shenoy, who coordinated the session so very well, other managing committee members, invited guests, and friends. It was really a very, very effective learning in the last 1.5 hours on something which, as the President said, is new to many of us, but that's a real future. And the agenda for the presentation, the first few slides when Robin presented that, it is clear that it is not going to be going over our heads. It's going to be really palatable even for a non-tech person like me, me being a chartered accountant. And it's really very, very lucid and very simple. And as the Rajshri said, AI demystified would have been right caption for this. And before I go on, I'm hoping that Robin Tommy on the screen is a real Robin Tommy and not an avatar. So I hope that the presumption is right, because AI is doing wonders. I know maybe another Robin Tommy is doing a presentation elsewhere. Thank you, Robin, for the wonderful session. And we moved on and on, and then we had heard from Dinesh, another friend, past president, another TCS, guy in our midst, that you have been able to touch lives with empathy. That's a catch today. I think most of the replies are on that. So, identifying thoughts of a differently able person and then transmitting to somebody or to a caring parent or a caretaker, and then getting things done. He wants to have a glass of water, want to go to the washroom and things. A lot of things in education covered sector-wise, and answered the questions very promptly in a language which could be which is palatable for every one of us here. So that is really wonderful of you, a person like you, having such a hectic schedule to spend almost close to 2 hours the preparation, and by the time we wind up, great show. Thank you so much, Mr. Robin, for being with us. And post-COVID, we would surely like to have a physical. That's what we are hoping with every good speaker who is blessing a KMA with their rich knowledge and experience. So big thank you from all of us here. I would say that Shalini ma'am doesn't make mistakes. So in the 8th program that Women Managers Forum has lined up this time, today was a completely different perspective. Really wonderful. So thank you, ma'am, for bringing all the elements together. And you always have that combination. So today was a research lead of TCS and the people lead of TCS. So who is the boss and how it is, we were trying to, and Tasha did a wonderful job right from introducing a colleague with so much of passion and rounded up so very well. So thank you, Rajshri ma'am, also for the wonderful session, with the way you have coordinated the session. To the president goes without saying, he's always there, taking lead, and he himself is the first generation techie. So something which should have been really close to his heart, and really nice to see that the new possibilities opening up in every field, and it's really promising and exciting. So thank you everyone there for your presence, a great participation. Most of them are still with us, and big thank you to our sponsors, Sera, Medivision, Heal, Verma Homes, and to everyone there at the Secretariat. And before I forget, let me, because the president would step in, that here we have a specially created memento online now, and this will be physically delivered to you. Is the Secretariat ready there? Yes. President would like to say something.
No, it's a signature memento of KMA, which will come to you with thanks from KMA Secretariat. Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Before we end, I just wanted to say, what is the latest thing that we have been working is a very interesting use case for one of the biggest CPG companies of the world, to find out what is the unique smell that comes out of your armpits, and create perfumes out of it. So this is a very different use case, I would say. Just thought of how people are thinking how AI can be applied. So get that smell, then work on the smell, and give individualized preferences of perfumes that come out in the world. So that's what is AI. Because some people were asking, where is AI going towards? Even perfumes even decide how it should be.
It's reached the armpit also. AI has reached the armpit also.
From cockpits to armpits, and no limit.
Thank you, Robin, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajshri. Thank you, everybody else.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stay safe, all of you. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Meeting.